Morning. So thank you very much, Alison, for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. So can you see my screen? It's full screen?
Yes, it is. It looks great.
Okay, awesome. So thank you very much. I'd like to talk a little bit about why the trade, the germplasm trade, and access to technology, I think is super important, especially to improve sustainability in dairy and beef. Um, Let me see if I can move the slide. Not working.
Down the bottom, yeah, there's a little arrow that should take it through.
Yeah, which I can't see because it's white.
Yeah,
the
the
bottom.
slide is, yeah, I see your issue there.
Let me try.
I think if you click on that screen, yeah, that's probably a good idea. Just start sharing again.
Okay. So agenda, I would like to talk a little bit about Vytelle and what we're doing here. I think the effect, so I'm talking about some of our products and solutions in the portfolio that we believe that can help to improve sustainability worldwide. Also, bridging the gaps and trying to facilitate the trade, especially the trade of germplasm, but also talk a little bit about the trade of the technology. So how to help, especially developing world to have access to more technology. And talking a little bit about examples on what is happening worldwide and where we see that we can make an impact. So Vytelle, we serve customers in 25 countries. So we are in countries where now we cover 55% of all global cattle population. And we're trying to solve for three major challenges. So how to help to improve global protein demand and production in a sustainable way, but while we keep producers profitable, right? So we're trying to how we can help to solve for those challenges, but also keeping producers in the on the farm and being profitable. And we do believe that genetic progress is the permanent and compounding effect. So selecting for the right genetics is the best way, the fastest way is you have a compounding effect to keep sustainability out there for longer and try to be the most accessible, reliable, predictable solution for that. And we are trying to advance the right genetics, right? So we're going to discuss that in vitro fertilization is super powerful tool to multiply individuals, to multiply genetics. However, if you don't find the right genetics to be multiplied, you are multiplying the bad ones. So that is not genetic improvement, right? So identifying the right ones to multiply is key in this process. So we try to attack the problem in two areas. So how we help with the mating selection and how we use reproduction methods to multiply the right ones. So we start with our Vytelle Sense, which we capture individual animal data and trying to identify the outliers, the higher performing animals. All this data comes to Vytelle Insight, which is a database where we crunch the data and we inform decisions moving forward. And we use our Vytelle Advance, which is our in vitro fertilization, hormone-free in vitro fertilization process to accelerate the genetic progress. Arguably, the 5 traits that drive sustainable production. So our longevity, yield, fertility, efficiency, and health. At Vytelle, we try to focus in fertility and efficiency and trying to focus on those traits where we believe that we can make the higher impact on the sustainable production, collecting quality data, and using also genomics to identify the outliers and the traits, and multiplying that, through IVF and unlocking the sustainability in a more broad way. So how the system works? So our Vytelle Sense, we have two tools. So one of them is a feed bank where we can measure individual feed intake and behavior. So the animals, they come, we know how much they are eating. And then our second solution is in-pen weighing. So we measure the body weight and water and behavior, and putting those two data points together, so we know how much the animals are eating, how they are behaving, how much water they are drinking, and we're measuring their daily gain. We can build the table with the most efficient animals. So some animals, they need 4 pounds of feeding to gain 1 pound of body weight, and some animals, they need 12 pounds to gain the same 1 pound. So once we identify the most efficient animals, so we know the outliers and have more information to make decisions moving forward, decisions related to genetic selection in this case. So analyzing the top 30% animals on our database for the last 15 years. So we could see a 32% improvement in feed efficiency. So that is, it's massive. Once we know that the highest cost of production is feeding, and improving on 32% on that. Also, that impacts methane emissions. So we know that there is some papers, they show that there is a 0.83 points correlation between feed efficiency and methane emissions from the guts. So that's, in theory, so if you are selecting for the most efficient animals, you are also emitting less gas, greenhouse gas, coming from enteric source. So changing now to our Vytelle Advance. So we use in vitro fertilization in a more sustainable way. So it's easier on animals, easier on the producers as well. So once we select the right donors, the right animals to multiply, we don't need any donor preparation, any hormones, any shots, and we can produce those embryos, grade 1 embryos, that they are going to drive more pregnancies and more calves on the ground. So, and that also facilitates for sure the germplasm trade through IVF. So I think Richard mentioned that the in vivo exportation, in vivo embryo production, to export, you have more protocols available, but IVF, I do believe that is super safe. Also, is a safe way to trade germplasm across the globe once done correctly and responsibly. The embryo production takes 7 days, and we can transfer those embryos into the recipients fresh or frozen. Here's some, a graph showing the regular distribution of the population. So if you take any trait of interest, so we're talking about any production trait, you have the regular distribution of the population in the blue line. So the outliers or those ones that are less efficient. When you use artificial insemination only, so because you are bringing a better genetics just from the male side, you can make genetic progress, but that genetic progress is limited because you are working with only one side of the equation, while the embryo transfer, you can bring the best donors associated, coupled, or mated to the best sires, and your genetic progress happens way faster, so it's 5 times faster than when you use just artificial insemination. So you can move your bell curve, and you can make your best and your worst animals, in theory, really close apart when you move male and female genetics in this equation. Here's another example, some now in dollars, an example when you use artificial insemination versus IVF, showing that the genetic progress is faster, and in the first generation, you can achieve the goals in terms of genetic improvement. And that is, when we think about global cattle population and global sustainable beef and milk production, if those countries, they have access to a better genetics, or as well as access to technology, so how much we could improve sustainability worldwide. And IVF would be the springboard to help those emerging markets for sure. Our Vytelle site. So our third pillar is everything about data. So how we use all the data that we collect from fertility phenotypes. So collecting data from dam and sires, coupled with our Vytelle Sense, which we have the capacity to collect phenotypic data from 160,000 heads worldwide, from feed intake and weight gain. When we couple those data points, how much progress we can make helping fertility and efficiency to our customers. And bridging the gaps to facilitate the trade and technology in developing worlds. So if we look back almost 100 years, here's all the reproductive technologies available or created. So we started with artificial insemination, and then on 70s, the in vivo embryo transfer, and then IVF on 90s. And today, according to International Embryo Technology Society, so 80% of the embryos produced worldwide, they are derived from in vitro fertilization. So they are produced in vitro. And that just shows how much we need to work with all the organizations and governments to explain, to educate, to show how safe is the in vitro fertilization for a germplasm trait, because that is going to drive the progress, the genetic progress worldwide from now on, for sure. Coupled with sorted semen, coupled with genome evaluation, I think we have all the tools, and IVF is great because of that. You can bring together all the tools and technology developed for the last years, decades, and we can, in one IVF embryo, we can put all those technologies together to serve customers worldwide. And here's now something for us to think in this call. So we are talking about technology, we are talking about genomics, genetic improvement, and as Richard mentioned, and at Vytelle as well, we have labs across the globe, but the most trades, the most exports happens between US and Europe and Australia. And if we look to this map, 70% of all the cattle in the globe, they are in the tropicals, and is where also we have the most emissions happening. So most of the cattle is in the tropics. Most of the emissions are happening in the tropics. So I think those cattle in the tropics, they are the ones that we need to attack and help to to develop a better genetics or more adapted genetics, more productive, and by consequence, we would help to reduce also emissions and make a more sustainable livestock production worldwide. And if we find the right genetics, and we need to find a way, a responsible way to trade germplasm among those countries, or even from US, Europe, Australia to them as well, in a way to help to attack the problem that we have today. Global access to technology will drive meaningful improvements in sustainability. So we can enable acceleration of genetic progress and drive better efficiency and resource worldwide. We can unlock and mitigate the greenhouse gas emissions. So ensure food security. We know several countries, they still import most of their beef and milk, and developing the right genetics in the right place, I think we can help with food security and national food security for those countries as well. Improve animal welfare, improve profitability, and facilitate the global collaboration. I think today the challenges we're facing is cost and access to technology and genetics. So lack of infrastructure in some of those countries. We still have regulatory hurdles, knowledge gaps. We need more educational, and I think this kind of workshop is great for that. So we can come, we can show, we can discuss how to make germplasm trade safe and available to other countries. We still have some cultural resistance and market volatility. Looking forward, we have several examples where the technology and genetic improvement can help. And again, discuss responsible trade is key to start this process. So a little bit about our footprint. So we have today 170 feed efficiency sites worldwide. So you can see that we have our technology established worldwide. And we have 21 IVF labs across the world. So we have 7 in the US, but also labs in China, Australia, New Zealand, South America, South Africa. So we are trying to make an impact and bring our technology to all countries that they can, helping them to improve genetics and be more sustainable at the end of the day. My last slide just brings some some ideas on how we are realizing the potential. Matching the right genetics to the right environment, I think, is key. So we have several examples in the past where we moved genetics from one country to other, but we know that host and cow that we bring from Canada, from the US, is not going to produce or survive in Africa, for example. So I think matching genetics, we have a great case from Girolando cattle coming from Brazil, from South America, how that adapted and helped tropical countries to produce milk in a sustainable way. Also, we have examples of sleek gene Angus in South America, and also some countries in Africa trying to bring from New Zealand their sleek genes cattle to adapt to their conditions as well. And moving forward, tick resistance, hoof health, heat tolerance, genetics. So all of that today, I think is feasible, is available, and we need to place the right genetics in the right environment. As a conclusion, balancing act, so navigating regulatory, I think is key, and this kind of discussions will help to improve sustainability goals in global beef and dairy trade. Requires cooperation and innovation for sure, and developing more flexible risk-based frameworks. Today, some countries who don't have protocols, and we're not even having discussions. I think opening the discussions and sharing information is key moving forward. My final message, so our mission and purpose by Vytelle is to ensure that meat and milk are viable and competitive food choice for future generations. I think our role here is help to produce milk and beef in a more sustainable way, so our future generations, they can have that as food choice on their table moving forward. Thank you.